Hello and welcome to our viewers here in Nigeria and all around the world. This is Newsroom series where we bring you stories from across Nigeria. But our focus today is on the southwest region, and the beginning in Oyo State, where the state government and other stakeholders in the education sector are calling on government at all levels and the private sector to come up with robust measures and workable plans towards combating the issue of brain drain and the Japa syndrome among Nigerian youths. At the 2024 International Education Conference, which took place at the University of Ibadan International Conference Center, the Oyo State Governor, Seyi Makinde, emphasized the importance of creating a conducive educational environment for young Nigerians to thrive in their pursuit of academic skills, stating that the continued loss of skilled manpower to foreign countries is inimical to Nigeria's development.
The 2024 International Education Conference at the University of Ibadan in Oyo State has in attendance concerned groups from Nigeria, the United Kingdom and Botswana. Serious discussions ensue over the infamous Japa syndrome that's depleting the number of great minds and professionals from various seats of endeavor. The governor of Oyo State was represented by the State Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Saliu Abdulwahid Adelabu, acknowledges that though there's nothing wrong with Nigerians seeking foreign education, it is imperative that they return home to put such acquired skills to use in the development of the country.
Giving the highest or the lion's share in the budget, that one is no longer a news. The 2024 budget, education has the largest share, and this is in compliance with the UNESCO benchmark that in every budget of every state, you should give over and above 20%.
The government also appreciates initiatives that would improve infrastructure, encourage skills development, and create job opportunities to retain talents within the country. In this respect, the government plans to put in place some strategic measures to open up access to qualitative education.
During our need assessment, we realized that there are infrastructural gaps. There are some schools without enough classrooms. There are some schools water reticulation is not working. There are some schools we don't have toilet facilities. In some schools, no library, no laboratory. Some schools requires fencing. And this we got close to 70 billion.
The International Education Conference and Study Fair is aimed at equipping young Nigerians aspiring to study abroad with requisite knowledge to guide them through the process.
If you Japa, go there and acquire knowledge. Whatever knowledge you acquire, bring it back home. There are lots of opportunities in Africa.
Some of the keynote speakers agree that Africa must brace up to tackle effectively the challenges confronting the education sector on the continent.
Government should apportion budgets for research, for development, for creating opportunities for young individuals who want to start business, who want to address problems in the society. So it's not something that we can do alone.
That's why we talk of knowledge economies. And that is why it has become very critical, particularly for African countries, to really spend and invest in knowledge creation. And knowledge creation means you invest heavily in education at all levels.
Some of the facilitators at the event who have at some time studied abroad to boost their career agree that government should focus on improving standards and quality of education to discourage many nursing the idea of traveling abroad.
And let's take you to Osun State, where the government is flagging off the disbursement of over 3.4 billion naira as loan for cooperative societies operating in the state. In his address at the ceremony in Osogbo, the state capital, Governor Demola Adeleke explains that the move is part of his administration's efforts aimed at boosting the economy and gross domestic product of the state.
Governor Demola Adeleke, top government functionaries, as well as some members of cooperative societies in the state, are at the City Hall in Osogbo, the state capital, for the flag-off of the disbursement of loans to cooperative societies in the state. Governor Adeleke explains that the loan will be disbursed in 3 installments of 1.145 billion naira each.
Our deadline here is to ensure those of various categories are being forced to register cooperative societies to grow their business and expand the state economy. I am to reconfirm to our people again that the government is committed to boosting the local economy, relieving the pains of the people and keeping the state GDP.
The Ministry of Cooperatives and Empowerment is responsible for the disbursement. The commissioner in the ministry, Adebayo Ogun, informs that the program would be flagged off in the 9 federal constituencies in the state.
His Excellency has directed that this flag-off ceremony takes place in all the 9 federal constituencies. But we are starting with 3 today: Osogbo, Ilesha, and Iwo, while the remaining federal constituency will come very soon.
Elder statesman, Third Republic Senator Oluwalabi, speaking in Yoruba language, commends the efforts of the governor in development of Osun State. He makes reference to the ongoing infrastructural project across the state. The beneficiaries of the loan are expected to start a business or inject the funds into their existing businesses, thereby improving the economy of the state.
Well, let's turn our attention now to the current economic realities and hardship in the country, as well as the fate of small and medium-sized enterprises here in the country. Let's bring in entrepreneurship consultant Fire Williams, who joins us live on the program. Thank you indeed for agreeing to speak with us here on Newsroom series. Let's get straight to it. When you look at the economic realities right now in the country, just how can small and medium-sized enterprises change their business models to navigate and survive this phase?
Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. I would like to say that the first step is their mindset. It needs to be a mindset of acceptance of the current situation, because in psychology, we say whatever you cannot change, may you have the grace to accept it. So yes, you should accept it, but let us all believe and pray that it is a phase and that things will get better. So after the acceptance, initial acceptance, then you need to take steps as to how you can minimize the effect of this high inflation rate, or the effect of, the removal of the fuel subsidy. You go to the market to buy your raw materials today, you're getting a price that is double, what you had it yesterday. Yes, you need to take steps. So what are these steps? Number one step that I would recommend is for you to analyze your revenue streams and make sure you are able to identify what is the most profitable, product or service that you have in your portfolio, and begin to do more of that. If you have any lame ducks, it may be time to cut them off, because you should not be throwing good money after bad. So once you've done that analysis, we talk in safety about risk management. So you are trying to look through your entire portfolio and cutting off what is probably wasting money. Then the other thing is, how can you generate other streams of income? So for instance, if I am a hairdresser, if I were a hairdresser, and all I've been doing is to call up my customers, do you want to do a weave on? Do you want to do a braiding? I can now say that over summer, I'll be able to train some of your wards on hairdressing. So I'm adding a training stream to my current portfolio right now. So another thing you can look at is all your redundant assets. If you have a room you're not using, rent it out. If you have a car that you're not using every day, can it become, can it go on a ride share platform and earn money from that. So you need to sweat your assets right now. Identify what you can do. Now, partnerships and collaboration would be another way you can, another strategy you can use to survive. So if you have been buying things like calico material for your tailoring unit and you've been buying it in yards from the popular market, now is the time to go to the manufacturer and buy that entire roll of calico material. When you pool resources with your colleagues who are in the tailoring space, so a 50 yards can be divided amongst 4 tailors, and then you get it at a cheaper price.
There have been so much talk about artificial intelligence, for instance, and I'm just wondering, when you also look at businesses, small businesses or small-scale businesses here in the country, I'm just wondering, in what ways can SMEs leverage digital technologies and e-commerce platforms to expand the reach of their markets?
Thank you very much. So in terms of artificial intelligence, even in my organization, we've applied that today. We use it to get some sales copy for some of our programs and initiatives. So as simple as ChatGPT is, I would recommend that SMEs get to know how to use the prompts, ask the right questions, get alternatives, probe deeper, and utilize ChatGPT to generate content. They can use it to generate content for their flyers, their sales pages, and so on and so forth. Now, when it comes to e-commerce and then online visibility, we really don't have any more excuses. There are e-commerce platforms in virtually all niches. We have the marketplaces for general goods and merchandises. Even if you sell real estate, there are some marketplaces where you can post your real estate and gain customers. So right now, dear SME, each and every one of us must have good social media presence. Make sure you have optimized your handles for certain keywords. And you must be on something as basic as Google Business Profile, so that when people search for hairdresser near me, caterer near me, you can pop up. So you need to learn more about digital marketing. You can go to University of YouTube. You can come to entrepreneurship development consultants such as I, and then you can apply all these various learnings.
Yeah, so I like the sound of that, the University of YouTube, because there's so much we can learn online. I'll engage you very briefly about issues around government policies, but just before that time, let's talk about diversification, because in times like this, in moments like this, just how essential is the need to diversify. In 20 seconds or less, please.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so the first thing I'll say about government policies is that, firstly, they virtually affect everything we do in business. And the ease of doing business mantra, I apologize, but it has not really worked 100% yet. So call out to government, things related to registration of business name and so on, we are still having challenges. So the other thing you said about, the government policies and diversification is real. So in Nigeria, we are so import-oriented. There are procedures and processes for Form M and everything you need to import. Can we begin to see the same kind of focus, the same kind of SOPs and procedures for exporting? So if I have a container load of gari or honey beans, how can I be helped? So can we have every state government, Ministry of Agriculture, cooperatives or Ministry of Commerce issuing some guidelines to help SMEs actually export their products so that we can increase the volume of non-oil exports and we can truly have the diversification we desire? Thank you.
Well, Absolutely a fine place to anchor a conversation with you. Fire Williams, entrepreneurship consultant, thank you indeed for bringing so much clarity in this time.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. Have a good day.
All right, and you too. All right, so there you go. This is Newsroom Series. Our focus is on the Southwest region. We're due for a break, but when we come back, members of the Waste Managers Association of Nigeria and Ogun States are lamenting over the non-payment of their allowances totaling over 18 months. We'll tell you more. Please stay with us. And many thanks indeed for staying with us. Two other stories now. Members of the Waste Managers Association of Nigeria and Ogun State are lamenting over the non-payment of 18 months bridging allowances to the tune of about 650 million naira, adding that the harsh economic realities has continued to hamper their operations and efficiency. During a press briefing in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, chairman of the association, Mr. Jola Oluwa Emmanuel, reveals that its members may be forced to down tools if nothing urgent is done by the state government to offset their accumulated allowance.
Private sector involvement has proven to be the most effective model for the state, and the model has evolved over years. At a point, we have over 200 operators in Ogun State. Sadly, the number of operators has reduced to less than 100 as we are talking now in the last 5 years. A loss of about over 50%. Although the state has the potential to grow the number of operators to over 300 businesses if the right conducive environment is in place. The waste management system is at the verge of collapse. That is why you see us gathering here today to call the attention of His Excellency and the appropriate authority, especially the Honorable Commissioner for Environment, Engineer Dr. Ola Oresoya, and all officials in Ogoma, that as we are now, this business is at the verge of total collapse, and that there is need for government to rise to the occasion of what we are about to make demand for as we are here in this conference room.
But in a swift response, the Commissioner for Environment, Ola Oresoya, appealed to the operators to show understanding as government is doing everything possible to pay off the outstanding wages.
They're expressing their sort of apprehensions and their concern. By the time we gave them the job to do, the cost of diesel then was like about 200, 220 per liter. Me and you know what the amount is, what the cost of diesel is right now. And we have not changed the contract. And we are not allowing them to transfer the cost to the members of the public because the governor has not really authorized that will increase its price. We are sensitive about the pain the public are going through. So in a way, we've been working how to cushion this excess cost these people are bearing. And I think I've discussed it extensively with the governor. I was still with the governor yesterday. And the governor has agreed to do something. But we are working out the papers. But every day I tell them, please be patient. They go through this period, oh, sir, diesel is increasing every day. So they're trying to express their own apprehension that, look, time is running and we don't want them to stop their operation. It will be, to catch up will be a double cost. One day that you don't work can take us another 3, 4, 5 days to catch up. So, and we don't want that to happen. So that's why they've endured for so long. So whatever expression they have right now, I'm sure they'll smile very soon. I will just give them hope to be patient with us. They will smile very soon and the job will go on smoothly.
And let's stay in Ogun State for a moment as the Commissioner of Police, Abiodun Alamutu, is advocating institutional and systemic reforms, human rights training, enhancement of police accountability and transparency towards restoring the confidence and mistrust of the police by members of the public for effective operations. The police chief made the call in Abeokuta during the 25th convention lecture of the Alumni Association of the Federal University of Agriculture held at the state capital, by calling for mutual respect and collaboration between the police and the public. The CP, however, submits that the current level of insecurity in the state is largely as a result of mutual mistrust and lack of confidence in the system.
I will not defend the police unduly. I will not. Because if I do so, I'm not helping the system. And I'm not helping you either. But first, let me tell you, this idea of blaming police, let me first tell you your own side before I come to our side. Idea is 20%, 10%, 10%. It's not helping you. If we are, it is your responsibility to make us better. Because if you have a police force that is not responsive, that is brutal, that is corrupt, who fills the front? It is you. So it's not enough to say 5%, 0%, 20%. That is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to put up mechanism, an arrangement, facilitate an arrangement where these lapses will be identified and measures will be put in place to correct them. Because so long as you remain ineffective, so long as you remain corrupt, you are the one that will be feeling the brunt. You don't understand? So you must address the issue so that you get out of the whatever pains that you think the police has placed on you.
And back here in Lagos, the state governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, took a test run of the Red Rail Line corridor ahead of Thursday's formal commissioning of the Lagos Rail Mass Transit infrastructure. But the governor says the project is ready for inauguration and wants traders to stop trading along the rail corridor.
The 37-kilometer rail line built by the Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority is ready for inauguration. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, his deputy Kadri Hamzat, the managing director of Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, some state executive council members and the Lagos State Environmental Sanitation Enforcement Agency are out to inspect the infrastructure facilities of the Red Line station. The team embarked on a train ride from the Ikeja Mega Station, viewing Agbado, Agege and Iju stations while on the test drive. While on board, Governor Sanwo-Olu moved along the coaches in a bid to ascertain the conditions. The train set of Talgo wagons built in Milwaukee, Wisconsin in the United States. Governor Sanwo-Olu returned to Ikeja train station within 15 minutes and says the project is ready for commissioning. One of the major issues for the government is getting traders off the rail tracks, despite several warnings on the dangers.
We've had a journey all the way to Iju and back, and I think you as journalists can better report what you saw. So we still have a few cleaning to do inside the trains themselves, because they still have wrappers and rest of it. So it's probably just all of that, and to continue to test, the air conditioning, which is working, because they all came from different climatic weathers.
The state government says enforcement exercise will continue to clear the train path of unapproved activities.
The challenge around pedestrian on the track, and the kind of wrong things we saw, on those tracks. So you've seen that we continue to do the enforcement. We will continue to do fiscal barricades on those lines, working with NRC. But the message here is really for our citizens and people that are living virtually on the track, that a track is not a place of residence.
The Red Rail Line infrastructure will be inaugurated on Thursday by President Bola Tinubu. Trips on the rail corridor will be a regular one, and residents must stay away from the tracks to avoid any fatalities.
And finally on the program, it appears some Nigerians are not prepared to wait till tomorrow, the day set aside by the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) to begin their street agitation for improved economic condition. But civil society groups in Osun State, just as in Edo and Lagos states, have protested the economic hardship in the country. Meanwhile, despite calls for it to shelve its planned protest scheduled for Tuesday and Wednesday, the leadership of the NLC is insisting on going ahead with the action. It has also raised the alarm over plans by groups allegedly sponsored by the government to infiltrate their ranks and cause violence. In a statement by its president, Mr. Joe Ajero, the NLC alleges that one of the groups being sponsored to attack its members during the protest is called the Nigeria Civil Society Forum. The union calls on the government to allow the workers exercise their constitutionally protected rights instead of resorting to intimidation of workers, which can result in total shutdown of the economy. And that does it for us here on the program. Thanks indeed for watching, everyone. I'm Kelly Egega. Good afternoon.